Ellie, one, over under on Trump actually being able to do what he is told, and two, the consequences if Trump defies a judge's order about keeping quiet.
Yeah, well, there's zero chance that he can do what he's told, because what he's been told to do is act like a respectful human being, and that is beyond the pale for Donald Trump. So there's zero chance he's going to do it. What are the consequences? Well, here again we go. Here we go around the mulberry bush again, right? In terms of contempt of court, if he speaks out against the gag order, yes, that could be a criminal charge, but it's very unlikely that they would put a 70-whatever-year-old man in jail because he was in contempt of court. And if they did, they wouldn't do it for more than a couple of days, right? So, like, that's not the big kahuna. Trump will run his mouth, and he'll get a slap on the wrist, and he'll run his mouth again. In terms of the E. Jean Carroll thing, that's more interesting to me. But to me, it's like, when are there going to be enough monetary damages for the people who keep platforming Trump to allow him the opportunity to continue to spread lies and defamation about this woman? Like, when is there going to be some accountability on that side? Because we know Trump is just going to lie about her as long as he's allowed to hold the microphone. Who's going to finally stop giving him that microphone?
Right. Sort of like, what is the relationship between that sum of money and the poll numbers? I want to do a really hard pivot here, Ellie, because the other big news, of course, that we're watching is the debt deal that we're watching down on Capitol Hill. And I know that you are a fan of the 14th Amendment, which we've talked about using to keep insurrectionists from holding office in Congress. Also could possibly save us from default. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people who are like, it's really legally complicated. And so I want to hear your take.
It's really legally complicated, right? Like, I love the 14th Amendment in terms of, like, emancipation, right? I love the 14th Amendment in terms of equality. I wrote a book about how the 14th Amendment is the tonic that we need for our Constitution. Using it for the debt ceiling, it's not that it's not actually that legally complicated. The problem is that once you do that, does the Supreme Court back you up, or do you just run into the situation where you are not only defying the Republican Congress, but now defying the Supreme Court in order to print the coin or print the coins or whatever you're going to call it? There's also the issue of remember, we're talking about credit here, right? So, like, if your bartender calls in your tab, right, and you're like, hold up a second, and you show up with some old lady's bag, he's going to take the money, but the next time he might not extend you a tab, right? And so that's another problem with using this particular legal loophole. It's a kind of like one-time only use, and if you ever need to, like, borrow money again, it's just unlikely that your credit rating is going to be as high. So I worry about it for that reason as well. If the Republicans are just not going to budge, using the 14th Amendment and its opportunity to make good all debts in the United States is preferable to the global economic catastrophe Marjorie Taylor Greene's caucus is proposing, right? If that's your choice, print the coin. But if there's any way to get around Marjorie Taylor Greene, who apparently is in control of the Republican Party with her sock puppet, Kevin McCarthy, if there's any way to get around these people into some kind of deal, that's probably better for the long-term health, if not of the country, certainly of the law.
And Ellie, our viewers can see the breaking news banner beneath you. We are learning that Biden and McCarthy, their call has ended. Details on that as we have them. Ellie, always a pleasure to have you. Would have been even more fun had you sang part of their world, but there are dreams that cannot be.